but she's got.
You do.
All right, let's
So I feel bad
call
for her.
call the meeting to order, and we will start with the pledge of the allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, we got a lot on our plate, both tonight and Tuesday, and I thought for a workshop, let's get through some of the things so that we can move on to the many other items that I know that this board wants to get to. As you know, Kevin Smith has volunteered and Larry has worked with him to take a look at our AV system to make some recommendations with some pricing and a plan to move forward so that we can make sure that we get these meetings to the public so they can see them if they can't attend, and that there's a AV record, audio video record of our meetings that couldn't attend or can't even watch them live. It's there for them to stream. And I know it's been very handy for me in the past to go back if I had questions about what occurred at meetings. So we've missed the last couple because we've had some issues. And hopefully with the work that Larry and Kevin have done, we can hopefully put this behind us and move on to other things. So Kevin, do you want to walk through, you and Larry, whatever you'd like to do, go through this?
Sure. Larry, you want to open because we both went through on that Saturday?
Well, we did both take a walk through. I was a little aghast at the age of the equipment that's up there. That I've got a mixer at home that's tighter than what's out there, and that thing's 20 years old. So I do agree that we definitely need some updates in that regard. I went through the list with Kevin, took a walk through the building, went to the server room, which is another disaster all on its own. But I don't think that these upgrades are beyond what's required. I think it's the bare minimum. It is going to cost some money. That's just the way it is. I did reach out to Sourcewell, 4 different vendors. I did hear back from one of them. They had comparable equipment. They didn't quote those exact dollar amounts, and their total actually came in above what Kevin had found. And then in the meantime, Kevin had dug in a little deeper, and he found some even better deals. So if you want to go over
Sure.
your B&H quote there, Kevin.
Sure. Sourcing through B&H out of New York City, their government contract pricing to New York State. The Dell computers, will start with those. That's Dell, that's state pricing as well. So if you choose to replace both of them, there'd be one permanent here, one permanent in the other room as well, which to me is a good way to go because then you're not taking equipment down, moving it around, and things can happen to it. I also put the audio part of it down below in the meeting room to replace all the microphones so they're no longer wireless. They will be hardwired to a mixer, and the power is provided through the mixer for those microphones. I also suggest a boundary microphone that stays live all the time. So when you're having a meeting, if everybody mutes, the general public doesn't think there's no sound. It gives you just background sound, ambient sound. And if somebody speaks up in the audience, it's heard. Adding a network switch, that's just a small piece of equipment to add more hardwired networking at one location. The roll-in mixer I suggested is actually less because it's not going to have the audio portion on it. It's actually one that will do all the video mixing, but we have the audio part taken care of with the other equipment, so we're not duplicating something we don't need. And then there's odds and ends through cabling and, like I said, the switch, And that's all broken down into what you see on your sheets there. I'll open up for questions.
Did we determine, one of my questions was about the internet service here in Spectrum. Uh, Jim did address that. In those speeds, there's those two wireless, TOS1 and TOS2, which I don't know if those are ones for cord. Those are just both internal.
One might be for court, but there's also the business one that we operate on. The guest we kept to 100, and it's what you see when you look without signing into the business.
Okay. So this mixer, Kevin, will be hardwired, like
Hardware.
Cat 6 or,
Yes.
so will we have to run a new cable over there?
No, there's existing there right now that's hardwired.
Okay.
It goes,
So my concern was the speed that's being provided. I understand, I believe it's considered a Spectrum business account,
Yes,
which, takes priority over, residential. In measuring the Wi-Fi in the guest account, it was only 100 meg down. You mentioned the other two.
business is 491. The court, I think, I'm not sure what the court runs because we never access that. That's theirs.
So being hardwired, it'll be a function of whatever's in the computer for network as far as that goes. So
Okay.
I'm just trying to address the potential, especially if we start multicasting, if there's enough bandwidth there, if everybody else happens to be on their phones or tablets or whatever while a meeting's occurring.
well, depending what they're getting at that switch before it goes over there, because obviously the switch here is hardwired to go over there, the hard line. And the Wi-Fi is on its own separate, so whatever's at that switch that we don't know.
That's the one I think that they actually ran a speed test on our network this morning for me and said it runs 491. So it's, and that's the one that we are on in terms of we operate from our computers. We're on that network, not on the guest network.
We're gonna be running at what we call 1080p too. We're not gonna be doing a 4K broadcast.
Right.
So we don't need that huge bandwidth.
Okay, but that's down. We're concerned with upload speed.
Mhm.
It might be, the Wi-Fi might be 100 by 5 or 100 by 20, and the other one might be
All I know is that
400 by.
it was a lot slower. People had a lot of problem with it. We upgraded it. There's some concern that, and why we want to keep them separate is, of course, if too many guests get on it and they have an issue, we certainly want to make sure that we're doing it, whether we're doing a different type of broadcast, bringing people in. So,
Well, just as a potential down the road, after making this investment, I would hate for that to be the bottleneck.
I don't think,
guess.
just my guess, I mean, I would think that at 491, again, I don't know everything about it, more than I do, but it's something we can address. It is, after all, it is a Spectrum business account. You would think that if we needed to do something a little better, we could. I think it runs us 150 a month is what we found for the charge.
Okay.
Kevin, will it be the same software we're using? Like, will it be like this, the log into the
It could
computer? and
still
they're
be
gonna
OBS as we
Yeah.
get, and that's a freeware, so it doesn't cost anything for that.
Okay,
The initial setup, obviously, we'd have to have CHP come in and do the initial
is
setup.
that the best way to do it, though? We seem to have a lot of problem with that.
If you get a direct streamer, we can set up for direct streaming,
Okay,
but that's a lot more money. So,
okay,
this works. I think some of it has been the hardware part of
Okay.
it.
okay.
As much as I hate to say that, it's overall, I'm not a big fan of OBS, but it
Yeah,
works. It does
yeah.
what it has to do.
Okay,
So,
Are these Dell all-in-ones? Is that the monitor, is the
Everything.
computer and the whole?
It's like a docking station right to the back of it, so everything is ported right to the back.
Okay.
So you don't have a bunch of peripheral wires hanging around.
can you put that in English?
So.
Sorry.
All the connections are on the back of the monitor,
As
that we-
opposed to,
having a separate piece of equipment set up mounted in the
so
center.
there's not gonna be a tower
Right,
everything is in the monitor
everything's
itself.
on the
The
monitor.
computer is the monitor, the whole.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
You can see that pretty well if you go over to Tompkins Bank. That's all they use over there.
Yeah.
Very clean installation, as you say.
So we've got actually two separate things. So you've got at the bottom of this thing, the 2467, that's just for the AV portion of it, right?
Correct.
That does not include computers.
Now that's up at top at the.
Yep, okay.
So the total is 4417.
44.7.
And there's no discount for buying 2 computers versus 1
No,
at a
because
time.
that comes into the pricing, the state pricing, so it's just, I mean, if you want 10 or 15 of them, it'd probably be a cut, but for 2.
I could use one for home.
If you wanna.
We'll buy our chemicals.
Careful.
I made sure they had enough, what we call RAM in the computer to make sure that there's no problem with the broadcast part of it. And that they're ordering Windows Pro, not the home version, so
And this in the back is just the spec on it.
that's the specs.
Yeah.
Where would this money come out, like contingency, or are we gonna find a?
Good question. I think that it would have to come out of the A fund.
Yeah,
You know,
Well, you said we had rent from,
yeah, I don't know where that, I mean, we do have some cash coming in, but it would have to come out of a budget line regardless of where the revenue
Right,
came.
right. And what's our current agreement with the village?
In terms of,
They just come over and use the hall and
Yeah.
we're not charging them rent.
no,
No, because if you,
You have to,
48% of the
Yeah, have
Shelby
to
taxpayers live inside the village.
live
We're
in
already
in
paying
Shelby.
we're already paying taxes to
Yeah.
Shelby.
So we'll give them half, 50% cut. Charge.
I don't know whether we'd have enough money in buildings contractual to pull it out of there.
I think that, well, I think that's where you're gonna have to put it, and
Yeah.
then if
We have to transfer some funds
we
out
had
of
a
something else.
contingency, but we
would
should
have-
have her earmark
Yes,
that money in contingency so that we
Yep.
know it's not available anymore.
because the money from the heart grant, we never put in for revenue, so I mean, that was
Oh, yeah.
never considered when we did the budget.
For whose rent?
For
Or-
Ridgeway?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes. So technically that will cover it.
That will cover it.
Yeah.
Actually, that more than cover.
So Ridgeway does pay to use the court.
Yeah, Ridgeway.
Yeah, I can look at that and we can set something up. It really comes down to whether the board wants to pursue that. Do you want to pursue the whole thing? Just do the AV and try to live with the computers we got, or actually to put the whole 4,400 or 4,500 into it?
Well,
I say do it all.
What,
I was just gonna
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say, I was gonna
Next
ask
time-
you two, I don't know, I mean,
Yeah.
you're probably
Next
better off
time, we've tried to take
Doing
and
it-
have it together.
doing it all at
Let's-
once.
Exactly. And
let's-
then you have a
do
turnaround
it.
time for replacement.
Yeah, everything matches up and everything. I mean, you're not gonna try and put an old computer on it, to use, it's.
So then I would say that do we want to entertain a resolution to proceed with the AV system that Dean proposed?
I'll make that. I'll make that vote.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone against?
You're coming.
I figure it's for the public. Public wants to see what's going on.
Well, absolutely true. And
Yeah.
actually, more and more of the rules by the state are,
Yeah.
that you've got to do these things. And in talking with the auditors, David today. They do municipal audits for other, and part of the audit is, what are you doing for procedures? What are you doing for this? And what's the process? And I talked to him at length about what are the others doing? What are the state, and yeah, the state wants you to get this stuff, the whole part of the public meeting laws.
Mhm.
And so if you have access to provide this to the public, they're gonna want you to do it. So I think that since we've done it in the past, we've missed the last two meetings. I think this is a show's intent, and then move forward with it and get it done. So I want to thank Kevin and Larry for putting this time in and for you to volunteer to put it together for us too.
Yeah, what's the timing on getting it in like up and running by like the April meeting? Would you think by first week of April?
It's possible, depending on shipping, how
Yeah,
it gets here.
yeah.
How it gets here.
Well, let's work together, because then we'll have to set up purchasing for it, because that's part of the other process we're gonna have to go through here to, make sure that we get the quotations, in fact, and then get,
Right. Well, like supply stuff versus equipment too. I mean, different length, I'm sure you.
Yeah.
You do like a blanket for smaller things, like a blanket purchase?
We don't have a, well, I don't think,
we don't really have a process. to do
yes,
that.
Okay.
yes.
That was
I'm
one of
used
the-
to requisition purchase order.
Yes, which we should
No,
do.
No, that was what I got asked
Yeah,
today, and I
yeah.
said, no, it's something that we don't have an official with, we need to work on it, so. Yeah, that was one of the audit questions today, so.
No, we won't be the only ones using, I mean, if it happens that like the planning board can use it too also, I mean,
I would,
any,
sure, I mean, they're all part of the
zoning.
town, zoning, planning board,
Yeah.
I
That would
don't-
be a good
there's no
idea.
reason that they can't access it since they're part of town.
Yeah,
I don't know, in terms of.
Getting it set up, that's the
Yeah.
problem.
yeah,
So, we can see that. I think, first of all, we get it set up so it's reliable for us, and
Right,
if somebody
right.
else wants to use it. I'm sure at some point the village may ask about that also, but since it comes out of the A fund, and since that's the tax base that the village residents put into, they're paying for it also. So,
mhm,
we'll see if that comes up. Certainly, let's get it up and working first.
Right.
We can address other uses or moment. Now, one thing is we should look going forward. We do have to make sure that whatever we do, we don't impact whatever the court's got. So
No.
Exactly.
you've got to talk to them.
I mean,
They are wireless to those two monitors up there and back. And actually, those monitors were bought with court money, with town money. So we have to make sure that we don't impact and they do use those on occasion for some of the court cases. So we have to make sure that whatever installation we do, whatever we put in, that it doesn't impact what they're
it's
doing.
going from wireless to hardwire, so it's not impact.
Well, if they're doing wireless, we want to make sure that we don't, again, you guys will know what you're doing.
Just
We
don't
have to be
unhook
careful.
something of theirs.
No. Is it something you do want eventually?
Well, I think
use up there?
eventually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't, that's not part of this though, at the moment, is it?
No.
Okay.
Did we, was there any more progress on the projector?
I haven't, Ed was, Grabowski, because he sits on the board over there was talking to those folks. I haven't had a chance to talk to him since. I know he was trying to pursue that they had, extras or, so, we'll hit the judge up and see if he's made any progress on that.
Yeah, because Kevin and I were talking about having it mounted to the ceiling and shooting against this
North wall.
north wall
Mhm.
as you're seated.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to,
Mhm.
Yeah, they would give you details for like maps, layouts and stuff, or a presenter in there.
That would be preferable, and I think the next stage we can look at that. We do have a very large projector screen. I don't know if it's big enough. It's like brand new. I don't think it's been used too much. So that does exist, that we already own. So, yeah, I think that would be preferable. Those screens, for our purposes, to put any maps up or anything else, is pretty useless. All right. Again, I don't hate to hold you up, you could welcome to sit through and stay with us, but I appreciate the two of you putting this together. next item on the agenda, the municipal solutions agreement. I sent this out to you several weeks ago. Sent it to you again yesterday. I did talk to Jeff Smith. Told him that we'd be looking at this and trying to get back to him ASAP so they can begin. I will tell you also, I found out that Municipal Solutions does all the bond work for Ridgeway. And when I talked to Brian, they've been extremely happy with them. They're actually working on some new water projects with them. So,
Did we get an email from them, or did I agree that they're being bought out
no,
with them?
not them.
That was
Somebody
A-
else.
A-
Oh,
AES.
AES, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is to be expected.
The only, I'm all fine with contract, but I just have one question. Did he give us any inclination as to like how many hours? We're talking,
I don't think he knows yet. till he-
50 or
A lot of
200?
it,
I mean,
a lot of it's gonna be how much information we
we
can
have,
give him.
yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
I think that, I think he has not spoken with Margaret yet, and Margaret spent a lot of time on this.
Yep.
Anything that we can provide them will cut the hours.
Yep.
So I think it's really hard to guesstimate. If we don't play ball with him and get him the information when he needs it,
Quickly,
it's
yep.
gonna drag it out.
Yep.
If he has to pull it out of pulling teeth, it's gonna take longer.
Yep, okay.
I mean, it is gonna require time on my part and people here to provide that information. I wish everything was at our fingertips, but you know, the idea is here, we need to get going on something.
Yep.
Let's get this thing resolved.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any questions on that one or any comments on that one?
Not from me.
No, it's something, comment I've got, something that should have been done a long time ago.
Well, I think finding the right.
The sooner we get at it, the better off we're gonna be, for sure.
Yeah, we need to resolve that. There's, as Margaret and John Candler, the other accountant that's been working with us, said, there's another discussion we have to have about the cash and water. And so the sooner we can get going on this
Mhm.
and everybody realizes, first of all, any of the money spent on this will not come out of the regular budget. This comes out of the water.
Water, yeah.
And it's, it's what we
Well,
planned.
and he can probably point us in a direction to what to do with the money.
A lot of that's gonna be, we'll ask them about that also. I think we'll learn a lot as we go through this with them. I'm sure they're gonna ask, just like the auditors asking all these questions. These guys are gonna ask a lot of questions that we don't know the answers to. We're gonna have to research and get it to them.
Yeah, I imagine they have maybe not a boilerplate, but, a process they use to, we need the following information.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
We can all work together on putting the parts and pieces
I'm
together.
almost afraid to see that, but yeah,
Mhm.
we gotta get this done. So we've been talking about this for years. So can we have someone want to put forth a motion to accept this agreement and get it signed, and I'll sign it and get it out to them?
I move we accept the agreement
Second,
and
let's get her going.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Any against? Passed. Thank you. This will be a big weight off us. If we can get this done, how many years we've been talking about the issues with water? It'd be nice to put it behind us. And I think there's a lot of people, a lot of taxpayers that'll be happy that we've done something also. Okay. The lawn service agreement, we're getting close to mowing lawn time. Grass is starting to show. We've got a quote from Sunshine Lawn. I passed that out some time ago, yesterday. And I asked whether anybody wanted to pursue other quotations. I do know I'm doing a little research. They did reach out to a number of companies the last time they did this, and this came back, I think, that met the specifications, because they actually did send out a pretty good spec sheet
Yeah,
for the lawn work. It's pretty tight.
Yeah,
I
it went out to bid. I think there was 3,
yeah,
and I think these guys were right in the middle. But
middle, yeah.
I'm trying to recall, I felt as though it was around the $36,000 mark initially.
Might have been when they first did it. I didn't do any.
I mean, that was just, I believe, in 23, wasn't it?
Then everything escalated with the.
I don't know why I thought it
everything
was
went-
closer to 40, but I could be wrong.
Everything went up.
Well, my recollection of the conversations out there were they were looking for a range of 3 to 6% increase annually unless, the board was not good with that. And it appears they're taking full advantage of
Sure.
whatever increase they can put on there. So,
I did not realize there's 9 cemeteries.
Yeah, a lot of them are small, though. I mean, there's only 2 major. You got-
Yeah, but they're still driving around.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? They
they're
still
all-
have to
Yeah,
load and unload mowers, and it's the time can, what I
Yeah.
mean? There is some time that it
Yeah.
takes to.
I can tell you that from just knowing a lot of years ago, I knew guys that did this and did big cemeteries in Lockport and such.
oh, yeah.
And the toll on the equipment is
Oh,
horrendous.
Yeah.
So there's not just the fuel and the time, it's the replacement costs of these things. And since we own those 9 cemeteries, I think the response, I think, from anybody I've heard from the public is they do a great job.
Yes,
I'm quite satisfied.
yes.
I felt we need to make a decision on this as soon as we can, so they know and they can put this in their planning for their springtime.
was there in our organizational meeting, was there liaison to the cemeteries?
I don't think we,
Dale is the,
Dale
not from the board. Dale is the,
is one of them.
He gets,
Cemetery
he gets a stipend.
administrator or
Yeah.
something?
yes, and then
Administrator.
who's the other one?
Don
Don Lennon, yeah.
So can I make the assumption that they're visually assuring this work is being done on a
Yeah.
weekly basis or?
They've been very pleased with.
I don't know
both of
about that, but the taxpayers are assuring us that they're being
We're
taken care
there.
of.
We're there a couple times a week watering flowers and stuff at Millville, and it's immaculate
Mhm.
considering, considering what we've seen in the past. They do a heck of a job.
And they're from Shelby, too. They're
Right, they're
down the road from the shop, Fletcher Gym Road.
Yeah, we're never, the cemeteries, they certainly aren't a profit center. They cost us a lot to maintain, but it is a service to the public and to the taxpayers. And I think we have to make sure that whatever we do meets the expectations of the public.
Mhm.
Well, that was kind of where I was going with all that, versus having an MEO going over there and all that.
Yeah,
Is that would be
just the cost.
triple this cost?
We
Would it
probably
be
end up needing a new
similar?
mower.
More than one.
Then you got,
Right.
you're probably gonna, they're getting paid a lot more being MEO. You would
Well,
think.
The equipment cost alone.
Oh,
if
yeah.
Those get beat up, I think would eat up this money in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. 2 lawnmowers would probably eat that up.
Oh, yeah.
Good sized one.
Easy, plus all the weed eaters
Yep.
and everything else. that
Do we have any idea how much time it takes them,
I don't
like
know.
to mow Millville or something?
I don't know.
12 hours.
I don't know.
depends on what crew they've got with them that day.
Yeah.
Some days there's a couple doing it, other days I've seen.
So, do we know what it was last year?
Yeah, I was gonna ask
I
you
don't know off the
too.
top of
Yeah,
my
it was,
head.
they took the raise that,
6%.
whatever they got in the contract there, they bumped it up. I think it was 47 last year, roughly, within a few $100, and that's 49, I think, this year.
It's 44.
Oh,
44,
44.
excuse me, so it went up 3%.
No, they got 44 here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, well, there's not enough time to go through that whole bid process. And frankly, we
I mean,
just
if
don't
somebody
have the
wants to put it on the
resources.
books for next year, I mean, certainly more than welcome to. We do have a bid spec that could go out, so it isn't like we have to rewrite something.
No, they got snow removal out here. Is that for the cemeteries also?
No, that's
No.
the contract.
Oh, that's your name of the company.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
all
the
right,
company.
all right.
Well, like all the other ones, just trying to keep them honest. That's all.
Yep.
No, the last one they had in there that was cheaper, we thought,
Mhm.
it was like chasing your tail, trying to get them over there, get it done. They missed,
Memorial Day,
they
didn't they?
missed Memorial Day.
Yeah.
They didn't get anything done for Memorial Day, and that's probably the
Right.
biggest weekend of the year over there.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
of the cemeteries, and they missed that.
Mhm.
Whether it was direction from here doing it or those guys doing it, I don't know what.
Nobody got a straight answer.
Right, never did get it, right?
Well, I
Straight
know
answer.
that I've had nobody in the public ever have said repeatedly,
No.
anybody I've talked to, that they've done a great job.
Yeah.
They're happy with them, so
Yeah.
I think if we want to go out to bid next time, the time to do it.
That would be
is
the
when they're in
three,
bid
that
room.
would be the 3-year thing anyhow, right?
Yes, yes, because this is the third year this
Yep.
coming summer.
So we can go out.
Mm-hmm. I want to say the village pays close to this, if not a little more, for boxwood.
And they're having their own people do it, aren't they?
No,
They
they
contract it
they
out, do they?
contract it out.
Okay.
60.
Shorty beast.
So
That's the only
And
one they
that's
do
one.
though? I mean, just, there's no
it's a
other.
big cemetery, but so
Yeah,
I don't think for 9 the
9
same.
of
So
them,
2 of them are
yeah.
decent size.
yeah. There's a lot of small ones all over.
So do we wish to proceed, and if so, would somebody want to put forth a resolution or motion to?
I'll move we
accept the-
get, Sunshine Lawn Service to, do our cemetery mowing, approve the bid they put in.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
You want to, Larry, do you have discussion?
Well,
I'm trying to remember if only specific cemeteries were mentioned.
Yeah, right there.
Okay, they are in there. All right. I'm okay.
Okay.
Aye.
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 Anybody against? Okay. Single source.
Mm,
The discussion, and again, I sent this out as soon as I got it to everybody. We've had it for a bit. They are spending a lot more time on our account than they ever planned on. We are working, of course, to cut back on that, but it's a work in progress. And I think at this point, they've done it. My feeling is I don't know where we'd be without them. They're available every time I call. It's rare that I can't get a hold of them. I think that's true, Linda, for when you've reached out to them or anybody else. I know Diana spends a lot of time reaching out to Margaret. Again, more than we had anticipated, but I think the workload is much more. I think it's obvious that when we started in here, we knew things were bad, but I don't think I know I didn't personally understand just how bad they were. We're still picking up pieces that go back to the departure. I keep hating to say this and repeating it over and over, but I just ran into one yesterday where we dropped the ball on something that goes back to their departure. And I just had to get Margaret signed into the portal today. It'll take a few days for her to get access to it. But we've been remiss in monthly reporting to the New York State Retirement Fund. Something I didn't realize there was a monthly report, and the last one that was done was was May, so, you know, we've got to go back and recreate those from all the payrolls, and we have to do them month by month. So that's the kind of thing that is consuming a lot of our accounting time for Margaret. The audit, and it's no complaints, they're doing their job, have consumed a lot of Margaret's time too, since she's been in here. And now she was in here yesterday with John Candler. I'll tell you that the auditors consumed almost 100% of her time with questions and for John. Now, that isn't 100% of the time all year, but it does keep her from doing other things like the vouchers, why we're late with them. I was hoping we'd have those today. Hopefully, and I'm sure we'll press her to get them tomorrow. She knows the necessity on that. She's also working very diligently on the new clock, getting the information into that, helping me with that process. She spends a lot of time too telling me what I need to do in terms of employee and union contracts relative to our expenses and our pay. She did in talking to her, if we can pull more of this back, she's happy to have that. I don't think that, I can tell you that she would rather not be spending as much time here on our account as she is. She has other demands on her time, and she has a boss. She will, and they will, if we can pull more out, and we're working on that with Diana to gradually get more and more of that accounting stuff off of her. Diana at this point has access to QuickBooks, to the other information that she can process. So a lot of the stuff that used to fall on Margaret is now gradually coming in-house. There's still a lot of bumps and a lot to be learned. I think that also, if you look on the quotation, the $1,500 a month in water, I would hope that if we can get this other thing in process, there may be an ability to cut back on that. Therefore, we can renegotiate this as we remove time from single source and from Margaret's time.
Can I ask how much time, does she have an estimate how much time she thinks she's spending over and above what she should because of process issues, like we haven't got processes in place that are, or either we don't have them in place or we do and they're not being followed yet. We're still adjusting it.
I haven't got an estimate from her on that. That's certainly a question you can ask her. I think that we come down to not to be, we don't have time to go out and look for anybody else either at this point. We certainly, with the work that's been done, we don't want to change in the middle of this.
No, I'm not. I'm just wondering how much will settle down and how much Diana, you know, maybe we're going to be a little off this year. We're going to have to try to figure something out. Yep. But if we move her position to more and she can take this on, I mean, I can name you 5 things right there but I know that we could do in-house. And if she has questions, she can come to me and we don't have to pay them.
I think right now, how much time would you say that you're spending on just getting the voucher, the bills, the receipts, and
I get them coded and filed as soon as I receive them, and just making sure that everything's on QuickBooks now that I have access to deposit it directly into there instead of going through the copier. It doesn't, maybe like a day and a half, just because of the shortened hours that I'm working on, like 6-7 hours potentially.
But what's the bigger issue?
The bigger issue is when something is not uploading onto QuickBooks, or if I get invoices arriving late, but I am already saying that this is the cutoff date. I will call anyone else and tell them that we won't be able to process until the next month.
So she's actually been calling vendors and letting them know if the invoice comes in late, okay? She was on the phone today just saying, this is not going to get paid this month. Understand this, you know, we're a municipality and that, you know, you'll be paid the next cycle, but, you know, we need to have these by a certain date.
So 2 things. Can you explain to everybody what is your process for the invoices? Like, You know, are they staying in there or are they going out to
No,
people?
they go to me. So
Okay.
I receive them if I code them right away as soon as I can, just to have it.
You code the ones that the
That
supervisor's responsible
yes,
for. You're not coding other
supervisors. Yep.
people's. Okay.
Yeah.
Just
So
want to make
I
sure
do have like a
everybody.
separate folder for Dale, and I will make sure when I have enough that he's not in office, I will take it to him, make like wait there while he's coding it, and then bring it back with me. Same thing with the town clerk. She tends to already have it coded for me and she hands them to me because they received the mail first. Anything received has to have a received by stamp, just so I don't get arguments from vendors about
When you
when
got
something was sent out. Yep, so then I code everything, put it off to the side. I was kind of hoping a couple days before the Tuesday that they are due, I would have them all in QuickBooks. I kind of messed up that process a little bit, but I did have like 99% of it in on Tuesday. So Tuesday noon is like my cutoff, unless it's vital, such as the credit card or insurances.
And is that what Margaret wants, just to have them uploaded once a month?
Uh, that's more for me to make sure that I am not duplicating anything because I do receive duplicate invoices sometimes, and I would rather confirm what I have instead of sending them too much. Sorry,
The only thing I would say with that is by giving them like everything, and I don't know how many, sometimes there's what, 40 and sometimes there's 80.
yeah,
By doing that and getting them to her on that Tuesday, she then has to make sure, whereas if we could send them at least every week,
okay,
but
I had discussed with her maybe every 2 weeks. Every week is kind of, and Margaret was okay if we were to do it every 2 weeks. I think that would probably, Margaret would be happy with that rather
Okay.
than, I think weekly, she wasn't real crazy about just with her own schedule.
yeah, I'm surprised because she doesn't have to code them right away. They're off your desk. You
Yeah.
know they're there, so when they have time,
they can look through it and
they can
process
start
it.
whittling it down, and maybe on the last Tuesday, you're only putting in 5 versus
Yeah,
75, right? So that's just a
Mhm.
thought. And personally, I can tell you from my perspective as an accountant, I'd rather have them sitting there when I'm ready than have to wait. And so I don't think it's harmful to put them in every week. And if you're moving them like into another folder that says these are the ones that are scanned,
Yeah.
you can always check just to be sure that you haven't received, and that it's not a duplicate. Although the system won't let them enter a duplicate as long as the number is the same, right?
because it was really weird. Some of when I did upload some of them, the information wasn't match the invoice, so like it would have a different amount to what I've already scanned. I did ask Margaret if that's something I can go in and fix, and she just said, "Don't touch it.
Yeah.
They'll get it figured out." And then some of them would say that they are duplicated, but the numbers were different.
And never a statement, right? You're not putting in any
No, I'm
statements.
making sure to get
Okay.
invoices only.
Okay. And then my second question is, so the ones that are coming later, are you are you trying to get people to send them to the accounting? Is that the email accounting at Town of
That's
Shelby or?
Supposed to be now. I'd ask CHPC to forward the accounting directly to.
Yeah, so I now
Yeah.
have
Change
access
that
to
direction.
accounting, so I can see what's arriving there. Some of them are being sent to my email and
Yeah, we definitely want to stop that, right? We don't want them going to a personal email because if you turn around and leave, now we got to forward another email. Whereas if
Yeah.
everything goes into accounting, all the invoices, then it from person to person, there's continuity.
yep, so that's something that I'm
Working with.
slowly working
Yep.
towards. Yeah.
Yeah. And we could always you could always like maybe just put a, piece of colored paper, with a little statement that tells we get them all the time at work where, please try to send all invoices to accounting by this date.
Yep. that's
So
a
that
good idea.
you're, and when you mail the check out, you do that for a couple months and
Well, I think the other discussion that we need to have, and we've had some brief discussions about changing our terms or some notification of terms.
Yeah.
Because we can't
45 days.
We can't guarantee 30 days.
45 days would
In
be.
any municipality, there's no way we can. So I
And I think on the municipal solutions, it says 45,
Yeah.
they're looking at
but I
45
think
days,
we
so
need
they
to let
know.
we need to let our vendors know.
Yeah.
So on these vouchers, is QuickBooks producing the voucher or is single source literally typing those up?
They're not typing them up. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. They're taking the information that gets put into QuickBooks with the invoice, and they are then merging that, I think, through a Word
Excel.
document,
Excel, I believe.
Excel, okay. And then they're creating the vouchers from a,
So they're doing like a
Merge.
mail merge for invoice descriptive.
in the
line,
format, right, in the format of what the voucher
and
looks.
paste in there, and if it's not enough characters, it gets cut off, and then
Mm,
dollar amount goes in. Or
yeah,
I'm just saying in terms of time, it appears to be a bottleneck in that process. And if they're in there, then why can't they be reviewed in electronic format versus leafing through a bunch of papers on a desk?
Well, one thing you're gonna have, we will be starting here and hopefully one of the questions they asked about sign-offs. There will be, from now on, I've asked for signage on the, not on each
the warrant
voucher,
report,
but on the
warrant report, yeah.
the warrant report. So you'll each have to sign off on that as you finish with the, so that we get signatures. Instead of each, you've been through the vouchers and then you have the warrant report, which lists each voucher. And you'll be asked to have there be a sign-in block for that.
So we moved all this outside intentionally. We had a period of time and Darlene was doing vouchers, and we had
Williamson, yeah, using
doing other
Williamson law,
functions and so
yeah.
forth. And we said, why don't we just have an outside firm that that's what they do for a living, for a business, handle this. But I'm trying to recall the initial amount, and
60, it was like 65.
Yeah, I think it
I
was.
thought it was closer to 5.
I'm talking 65,000 for the year
For the year,
Okay.
for single
for
source.
single source. But
So
the problem
is
is,
this being presented as a addendum to the contract we have with them already?
well, it's not really, it wasn't a contract. It was like, it's kind of like a 1 year, this is what we're going to charge you this year. And then you kind of,
These
and
agreements don't go on multi-year.
Yeah, they're not.
These are yearly agreements. So we're already overdue. They're already end of the month.
so I will say this, part of the problem is when they took this over, they assumed they would be able to kind of just pick up, the actual monthly process, if you take away all the mess we had from before, right? The normal process is not that difficult, right? You get an invoice in, when Diana scans it, it takes it into QuickBooks, and then you open up a screen, and the coding that's written on the invoice, like the budget account, you just would type it in there. You check the date and a couple things. It takes maybe a minute to do each one, I guess. But the problem is there was so much correcting of all the other stuff. They've spent so much time doing that. And this is my personal opinion. I honestly, I think it's a conversation to have with Margaret at some point, in the next couple months, I think. They carried everything over the way we had it, right? We had one account called the computer account. We paid all our bills out of that. Personally, I think we should not do it that way. It would make it much easier for Diana if we could bring it back in-house easier if each fund, A, B, D, and DB, each had their own checking account. And then all the input is done into that.
Now, did they import the
Each-
budget into QuickBooks?
Yes, it's in there.
So I see the budget to actual on here, and I think you mentioned that's going to be in for the next meeting Tuesday, or no?
She's hoping so, yes.
Hoping to get it because the budget wasn't in. She verified that it's in now. Linda
It
did.
was in. I think the problem is she's just still trying to get caught up.
So with the budget being in there,
Mhm.
when you're putting invoices in, are they being coded to that line in QuickBooks?
Yes,
Yes.
DB,
yes,
100, so
yes.
forth.
And any questions that Diana has, if she's uncertain or if she sees any inconsistencies, let's say, and anything comes out of highway, she'll come to me, she'll go to Dale. So we do question every one of them. And we question quite a few of them as to where they belong.
So when you're entering them, do you start typing in the budget line and then like a window opens up and shows you all the ones available, or does it force you to type the
So-
whole thing in?
I'm only scanning in the invoices and it kind of self-populates what's on there and I'm able to at least match what I scan to if it's seeable and but I'm not allowed to actually change anything. It's only in a,
So you scan it, it goes into a folder called receipts in QuickBooks. And so what Single Source sees is they open up QuickBooks and they look in this receipt folder and every invoice that she scanned is now there. So they click open the invoice. They have on half the screen, they see the invoice, and the other half the screen is the input information. And it has pulled it all in off the invoice, but you have to double check just to make sure that, like if it's DA 5130.2, that the coding that came into QuickBooks is the same, right? And you check the date and then you say process,
Okay,
and it puts it in basically into your payables.
so she's not actually typing dollar
No,
amounts.
just scanning the document in so that it's in there in the folder for when Margaret gets ready to do it. That's why I said that's a very easy process
Yep.
that we can get Diana to do. But it's a little more complicated right now because we're using one checking account.
So this, as we move forward, the municipal solutions and we bring more responsibilities in-house, I'm not comfortable with saying, signing up for this amount for 1 year.
Oh, I don't think we're held to that for a year.
Already said we can
Yeah.
renegotiate.
Yeah, we will readdress as we start pulling stuff off of here and bringing it in-house.
Yeah,
So
to see
should
how
we-
far we can get. That's the problem. And they're not gonna proceed without some type of agreement. I mean, why would they? But they have indicated that they will renegotiate as we pull things in.
Yeah,
The problem we got right now is that there's still so many unknowns. So you say, okay, I'm gonna cut back on this. Next week, I got another huge, I already got this one with the retirement. She's gonna have to go in and fill out payroll. And you have to do that manually. You can't just, it just doesn't flow over from our payroll accounts into the New York State. She's gotta do month by month payroll reports in the New York State retirement for almost the last year. So every week we seem to run into another thing where we think we're making, and we are making progress, but then something else crops up and you say, they dropped the ball and we're still picking up the pieces. And that falls a lot on Margaret to fix.
So personally, I would like to see like all the accounts payable stuff come back in-house, right? Like we do Diana will do all the vouchers and put them in, okay? They will still do the warrant report at this point because that's something that they've set up in order to, merge, and that's probably a little more than we want to. We should take it in piece by piece until we
Yeah.
get comfortable with it, right? The payroll, you probably maybe want to let them continue to do
Yes.
it with the time clock.
Yep.
But if we separate into 4 bank accounts, eventually we might be able to bring that back in-house because that again is like balancing your own checkbook at home, right? If we have 4 separate accounts and some of the funds like DB and they don't have that much activity. There's not that much going on. So I would like to think at some point during this year, we should be able to bring a chunk of this back in-house.
Seems like I'm remembering before they grouped all these accounts together,
There used to be more.
like 17.
Yeah.
There was a
Want that
crazy.
either.
No, we don't want that
No, I
many.
know, I'm saying,
Yeah,
that they grouped it all together, but
I know.
they just went too far.
we called it computer account for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't
So
know.
that was in the comptroller's report when
Yep.
Jeff was supervisor.
Yeah.
And
They
his
probably should-
response was to just lop off 10 of those accounts.
Exactly. They
Exactly.
probably needed to cut them
Right.
down, but did they cut the right ones down?
No, they just folded them into,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, it's things like that though that we know that we've got to get to.
Which makes the bank rec hard to do, which
Yeah.
makes, because you've got a rec that you're
well, I mean,
Dealing with 4
I agree, we
funds.
need to move back out and be a little more granular in detail. Than just, one lump
Well,
account.
it takes her some time that, she has to go and, and divide up the computer deposits into the various, and write the checks out of the various, so.
And honestly, that's something we could, I mean, I guess I would like to, again, I'm talking from somebody who actually does that. I don't do what Margaret's doing right now with how they have it set up. So I can't say for sure, but I don't know why we can't go open 3 other bank accounts, right?
There's no reason. I think we just gotta get agreement to do
Right,
it.
we just have
Yeah.
to kind of
Just gotta
say
get
to
it
Margaret,
done.
here's how we're gonna move forward with this, and we'll do the work to get it set up. And then eventually we can start putting in
Yeah.
the stuff. I'll tell you the other thing though, that I was adamant last year and I didn't make much progress 2 years ago, and we tried a little bit this year. It is important when we do the budget to have the department heads be specific what types of things are going into each budget line,
Mhm.
so that when she's putting invoices in, it's almost a double check, right? If Darlene says that she's got office supplies in, 2120, and she actually codes it to 5120, Diana will catch that because she knows what's in each one of those contractual accounts,
I
right?
think once we get we're gonna start this budget
Yeah.
process in June. And the first thing we're gonna have to do is make sure that we have,
Worksheets for them.
worksheets for the department heads and really sit on them to get.
Well, I think the actual budget lines themselves need more detail because, there's proper use of personnel. I pointed it out earlier, when we were going through this budget. And I think it would just help us as a board and the general public to understand exactly, like you said, what those lines are.
Yeah.
We bought
I
a bunch
think-
of salt. Who paid for that?
Yeah.
Well, that's, yeah, some things always go into one fund, but one of the things I'd like to see personally is, I want to see overtime separated out
Mhm.
for highway, so that we know if we budgeted 800 hours and that was whatever dollar amount, right? Like, are we on track with that or are we over?
So
So-
those are good discussions, but.
Yes,
I think,
sorry, I'm
let's get
getting off
back. I
track.
know,
Sorry,
It's real
okay.
easy to do
So-
because it ties into the
Yeah.
finances.
Yes,
It's real easy to take a.
Well, I just wanted to make sure we're getting our money's worth
Oh.
because, there are other areas that,
yeah,
we're paying for and, we're paying double what we had budgeted for and or
I
anticipated.
think we've under budgeted a number of things. I don't think there was any, again, I'm just gonna go back. I had no idea for even all the time I spent here coming to the workshops, coming to the meetings, how much was dropped. And it isn't just what you saw from the outside. This goes back way beyond the last group. The filing system, the amount of information that's available, the processes. Oh, it's a simple thing like the court contract. I didn't even know we had one. Trying to find it, and there hasn't been a new contract since 2014, 10 years. A lot of our other agreements and contracts have been ignored and
Expired.
They
Yeah.
need to be renegotiated. So,
Well, it's a function of you don't know what you don't know.
absolutely.
And
and-
then what
and I
you
gotta-
do about it when you do find out that you're supposed to know about it.
Yeah.
And
Well, we're
do you have
working
that
on
ability? So-
documenting, and by the time we get done, our goal is that anybody can come into that seat and pick up the book that tells them what's due, when, how to sign in, where they need to go, where it's filed, redo the filing system here, document control. There's a number of big issues that are on our plate. The problem is every day we get tied up things like I got 2 new requests for more reports from the county in one day. And the report that they do is, I had to file at 426 for you two, and I did. When it's their pink sheet, when you change employment. I go and I set it up and they came back to me today after all this time and said the birth dates are wrong on it. I go, the birth dates are wrong. Well, it turns out when I go and try to do hers again, because they didn't like the way I did that, is that when you go to save it, it takes the birth date out that I put in there and populates it with today's date. So there's so many things like that that occur on an everyday basis here. We get them worked out. We'll document that. We'll get them fixed. But just when you think you've got things, okay, put that away today, the county calls you, the state calls you, somebody calls you, say, you got to redo this thing. So
Yeah, I've
So,
got my own thoughts about the county.
One more question for you, Dana. The invoices that we send out, this miscellaneous, do you know like roughly how many, like probably for the court fees and a couple, but how,
So I haven't sent out any invoices, so I'm not sure
okay.
like
You have any
that
idea like how
process.
many?
it's rare.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
invoice for that much. I couldn't tell you how many it is.
Okay, so yeah, I'm thinking it can't be more than like 5 a month
Oh,
or,
probably.
yeah, okay. Because that, again, that's kind of, okay.
Yeah, if you give me something to populate, just fill it in and I can send it out myself.
Yeah,
if
so
it's
the
that
part of the process is not so much creating the invoices, it's making sure that you've gotten the information to create the invoice.
Mhm.
And that's the thing that takes more time than the actual creation of the invoice, is making sure that you've got the correct information to put in it.
Um, I would like to see us talk to Margaret and say that, you know, if we decide we're gonna move forward with this, with the understanding that our goal is to transition payables back in-house
Okay.
in the next, like, 3 months or, you know what I mean? So that we know that we're gonna get this taken down.
I'll get
And I'm
back-
happy to
I'll
have
get
that
back, I'll
conversation.
get back to you.
Yeah.
We could do that at the Tuesday meeting and she'll be here, right?
Yeah,
Will she be here?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you know, like I
that's
said,
right.
I understand we can't very well
No, I
just
think
walk
that's,
away, but it's gotta be a goal
I,
Yeah.
bring the
we,
time-consuming stuff back.
whatever
Mhm.
we can do to bring it in here, the end game here, or the only thing in there we just have to be cognizant of. Again, she's being very cautious about not exceeding the 20 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
was just
told her
gonna
not
say
to worry
that.
about it, but she still
Yeah.
worries about it.
Yeah.
So the more we bring in,
The more she's
the
gonna have to
more,
do,
just
yeah.
be aware that
Yeah.
we'll have
Yeah.
to revisit that
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
point.
No offense, but you're a hell of a lot cheaper than single source.
Yeah.
So we'd rather add your hours
Yeah.
than work to them.
Okay, so you'll ask that question?
Yeah, I'll ask her.
Yeah.
Put that down and ask
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
know-
so initially it would be roughly 5,500 a month. That's why that number stuck in my brain at 60.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
You know,
I don't think that, again,
now at this amount, if for some reason it all goes sideways, I mean, we're up over 100,000.
Yes, because because they're spending not the 10 or 12 hours a week or 10 hours a week that they thought, whatever it was. I don't know. They're spending like double that time.
Yeah.
It's
I can tell you how
it's been
stressed she is.
excessive.
She's
Yes.
extremely stressed. When we first started with her, you could chat with her. She's trying to straighten this stuff out and get this stuff done for us. There's a whole different tone to her voice in the last few months,
Mm-hmm.
trying to help us out and get this thing moving. We're still, I hate to say it, but there's still issues being found back to some of the work that was done prior to, back to LGSS and some of the things that have caused this, and that she has to go back and rework. Talks to Nicole, from
I didn't want
Commercial Milwaukee,
LGSS.
yeah, I know.
This-
I'd like to proceed with it, and then we'll ask questions about what we can bring back in house and how we can reduce
Yeah.
this amount.
See what she forecasts, what she thinks we're gonna be able to,
Yep.
We've got money set aside for the water part of it.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would come out of water, not out of regular budget money.
Yeah.
And I've had conversations with Margaret, and she would be more than willing to let some of this come back in house.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of we need to maybe change the setup a little, because while they understand it, I think it's the way they're doing it is a little more complicated.
Then
Then-
someone without an accounting
Well,
degree.
yeah, it's kind of complicated for me. That's, you just have to be very careful how you're doing things when you're running everything through one fund. And so I think by making a couple little changes, it'll make it easier. Diana can do it. If she has problems, she can, ask. I can certainly help her. We're just doing the base part, and then let them continue to do the.
If you want to hold a vote on this and just put it off until you ask questions on Tuesday, I'm okay with it. I just know.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
If you wish to do that, and then
Yeah.
make sure Margaret's here, and you can ask any additional questions.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't want to give them an opportunity to bail out, and at the same time, we've already approved, vouchers at 10 and over the last couple of months from them.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, this kind of locks it in. So, I mean, if it, you know, if they run over, that's their own fault.
Well, I think that's a question for him. I think let's go ahead. Let's table this
Yeah.
till Tuesday. And I think asking questions like that and like, comments and any other that you can think of, it's only a few days away. I don't think.
Yeah,
I missed, I'm sorry, I heard what you said, Larry, but I didn't process it. Can you say that one more time?
They're looking to get locked in here at 95. I know the last couple of months, their bills have been 10,
11.
you know,
This last
and
one.
over.
Because they're billing by the hour, probably
Yeah.
for
So-
water. Because just so you know, water was never part of the original agreement.
I know that.
So that's why you're seeing different bills than the
Yeah.
original amounts because,
So, but the water portion of their prior bills was $5,000. You know, now it's 1,500 on here. And, you know, the bulk of the work that they were hired to do, you know, has been bumped up. Kind of like municipal solutions and sunshine and what have you, you know, they need some sort of agreement in place in order to continue on. You know, if we waffle on it and they're not pleased with all the, you know, extra work that they didn't anticipate they had to do, then they'll potentially move on.
Mhm.
You know, that if we don't feel that this number
I-
demonstrates the value that they're bringing to the town and
I would also like to talk to her about the breakout there, like the 8,000 and 1,500. I'm thinking that she's spending more time in water, but maybe not. I don't know. So I think
well,
it's a
and that's my
conversation
question. I
with
mean,
her.
this, you know, this number was 5,200 and change on the bill last month. So why, what happened there to,
Maybe she's figuring
do
the
they foresee that
Well, I think
initial
she's
solutions,
spending-
they're gonna do
Well,
part of
she's
that,
work
spending-
that's gonna,
I
right,
think
come
that
off of her
take
plate.
I think a lot she's figured out what she's doing in terms of
Allocating and,
allocating the different water rates and
Mhm.
that was a lot of work. And I think that she's feeling that she doesn't have to spend as much time on it at this point. Again, I think you got enough questions. I don't think they're going to go anyplace between now and Tuesday is my own feeling.
yep, they're not.
And quite frankly, we're not going to go looking for somebody else.
Mhm.
But I think it's fair. There are questions from the board. I
Mhm.
think it's fair that with Margaret here on Tuesday, that we ask those questions and that, everybody's comfortable and the public is comfortable with the fact we've done our due diligence.
I'm just thinking here that once Municipal Solutions get rolling on their part of the project, this amount here, the 1,500 might dwindle down.
Might actually increase at first.
Well,
Depends on how much they get from
right,
her.
right.
Well,
It's gonna be going one way or the
It
other.
depends on the grant too, if they get any
Well,
grant.
that's right. I mean,
Yeah.
again, that 1,500 comes out
Yeah.
of the water accounts and we've got a lot, not that I'm looking to spend it,
Right.
but we've got a lot of money in water to fix the problem.
Mhm.
And instead of taking it out of the general budget, we make sure that any work that is being done on water gets charged to water. I would hope that, again, the grant and all the work that's coming out for municipal solutions will come out of the water budget also. And that's the way we set up the budget anyways, to put some money in each district for legal, engineering, and for work of this nature. So let's wait till Tuesday on this. We're gonna table
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Okay, ask Margaret questions.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll bring up the date on a couple of things. I know we'll get to the list here. I did forward an email at the end of the day here. We really just started up with the HR folks at EBC. Had some personnel issues that I've had to work with them on. They've been very responsive. Had my first joint meeting call with them. They're proposing, and I think I forwarded the email, they have a template they use for the employee handbook, and then they'll take specifics, unique things that Shelby has in it, include those in that, and they'll make sure that it meets state requirements and all the other stuff that they make sure that we're following the rules in terms of the handbook. if you have anything at this point, drop them off in writing to me. I'll make sure they get them to include them. We certainly, once we get the draft, we'll have an opportunity to go through the draft and make any changes. So it's not a thing they're gonna shove it down our throat. They're here to work with us. But this way we can get it going and get it started and at least have a working document that we can function with that meets state requirements. So that's where we are with that one. The audit, pretty much done. They're done with court. They have the clerk to do yet. I think they still have questions for Margaret. I kind of hope I'm off the hook, but we'll see. They're doing a good job. It's painful, but I think the report we'll get from them will be interesting,
Way different.
way different.
Are they by any chance offering examples of the things they're asking for? I mean, that's quite lengthy about,
yeah, they
what is
did.
your procedure for this and how do
No,
you
they did.
handle this and how do
They
you
sent that in and I did get stuff out and we tried to find procedures and we stacked them up and I was able to address some of their questions that we could find here. So yes, they sent documents to, to Margaret, to me.
I'm just thinking in terms of, there's something on there that, I really don't even know what they're asking for here. Can you send me an example of?
There wasn't so much examples.
you're
They were pretty
expecting.
straightforward of what they were looking
Like they'll
for.
say, we want a procedure for how you handle your bank reconciliations. How do you handle your deposits? How do you handle your?
Are they looking for
how do you
actual
handle-
SOPs?
Oh,
like,
yes.
I'm gonna hand,
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes, which we have none of.
Okay.
And it's,
Well, that's what I'm
it's
saying. How are
unfortunate.
we responding
Yeah.
to those
Just
things?
verbal for right now, and the idea that we're gradually putting this together. I mean, a lot of it's explaining. A lot of my time was with the 2025 budget, explaining why numbers were in there, why we were over budget on some things, why this was put there. I think there were a lot of questions surrounding all the money that was moved around trucks. Certainly, they had. I answered them best I could. I've been very clear on the situation that we were left with. I think they were a little surprised, but I think that overall they've asked fair questions. There's been no gotcha stuff. They're just looking for information. I've provided what information I could give them and told them that anything else, I'll just do the best I can to find them the answers. Same thing with Margaret. She's been very forthright with them. So
They're not there to hang us. They're there to basically show us where our weaknesses are, and where we need to fill in the gaps of things we're missing. And it's unfortunate that the prior auditors didn't delve into everything as much as this group is, but
I think that also will show the taxpayers, what we've been dealing with. And the answers I've given, I think, show them that our intent is to fix these things. They've been, they spent a lot of time asking questions about, things that, I've said, this is, we're working on it. This is where we are on that. And I think that it'll show that we're spending time on it and trying to do what we can. They are in here hearing me on the phone and hearing us and they're working. So, I mean, I think they understand what we're up against. So, I'm looking forward to that. We have a wrap-up meeting, not a wrap-up, but pretty much a review meeting, March 24th. That's a phone call.
Speakerphone? Or can we be here?
I don't know whether you guys can be here for that, and I don't, why
Okay.
not? It'll be during the day.
March
That's-
24th?
March 24th. I'll get, once they send a meeting invite, I'll forward it to
if
you.
more than one person comes though, if there are more than two of us.
But I
Yeah,
think
that's
the
right.
remote Zoom meeting, as long as we could probably all tag in if it's during the day.
Yeah.
You have to open it to the public is what I'm saying.
I don't know that if you just tap in to listen, no, we're not making any decisions.
Well, I think with the supervisor, being the CFO of,
Yeah.
I think it's a Jim thing.
Yeah.
And he
And he can
Because they
report.
will come in front of the board at the end and
That's
give a
correct.
presentation to the board on everything they found and
Yeah.
what their recommendations are and, yeah, so
And
it's
they're gonna
not,
do certain state filings for us also.
Yeah.
I got them access to a couple of different accounts to the state so that they can actually do some filings for us. That I didn't know existed had to be turned in, so they are gonna do some other things for us to keep us compliant.
I think what maybe they're gonna end up doing is kind of giving Jim a heads up about
Mhm.
what's coming.
Yeah,
You know, what's the report gonna look like?
yeah, there's no report to it on the 24th,
Mhm.
this is where we are.
Is that open to the public?
No.
Not yet, we're not sure. Nope.
No, I think anything would, you know,
Well, if
once they
they're,
present to the board.
yeah, they're gonna come, at the end though, I mean,
Yep,
They
in
will
the
come with,
meeting,
yes.
so the public's gonna know everything,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
All right, well, Larry, you had sent a bunch of questions. I tried to answer some of them, provide some comments.
Yeah, you know, and my intention wasn't I didn't want to just write this stuff down and then, you know, sandbag it and spring it at the end of the meeting and
Mhm.
Yeah,
suddenly,
I appreciate
you
that.
know, we're till 10 o'clock. I just kind of wanted to get it out there because, you know,
Well, let's
while
go.
I'm working during the day, I'm maybe, you know, whatever, all of a sudden, boom, something just pops into my head and I write it
That's fine.
down. And I think, geez, you know, we talked about that we
Mhm.
were going to visit
Yeah.
it at some point, and then we just kind of,
There's a lot of things that
you know,
should get to, and I'll tell you, Linda made a couple calls. Some of these things really, as a board, I'm really hoping that people will
We
take
should divvy
ownership
some
on,
up, yeah.
divvy them up.
Yeah.
I think, I don't want to get into a situation that we have witnessed in other boards that meet, that they discuss things, and at the end, it's more, we need more information. We need more information every week. If there's an element like cemetery rates, I would prefer, it would be great if somebody would say, I'll call around and get some of these things and bring it to the meeting. Not unlike what you and Kevin did, go through that and bring it in, and then you bring something in here and say, this is what we propose. I think cemetery rates are one of those things that need to be addressed. We know that was an issue in the last year or so, but we really need to see what other people are charging.
Right.
So is somebody here?
well, this came from Darlene's email, basically,
Right.
you know, and it sounded to me that, you know, she was either questioning the amount that she collected.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, one
Well-
person was charged this amount, another person was
Right.
charged that amount.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know,
We did,
what is the amount? And
Well, there is an amount, but I think in one case, there was some special circumstance, something was going on that caused it to be a little bit more, but I think that we really need to,
we do need to address.
we need to address this. It got brought up, it was raised, it never got approved by the board, but the rates went on the website. I think that we need to make sure that we know what other areas are charging.
You need hard numbers, really.
Get some hard numbers and come
Yeah.
to the board with them and say, this is what the other ones are doing. And then we need to say,
Set
the
up,
board vote on it, we set
Yeah.
the rates, and this is what it is. And
Yeah.
then, you know, put that one to bed also. So
Mhm.
is there somebody here that would like to take that to
I'll-
make the calls?
I'll do the first two.
All right, I'll give you this because I reached out to Barry. There's the guy to contact. And I will send you the information because I reached out to Ridgewood.
Okay.
this
And my
afternoon.
thinking on the cemetery rates isn't a business. Cemeteries aren't a business for
No.
sure, but we don't want to theoretically price ourselves out of the market of people using our cemeteries. What little bit we can get back is going to be a bonus.
Well, it's a pretty costly operation, I can tell you.
Well,
I
Oh, for
walked
sure.
out here the one day. I've learned that the vaults aren't where you think they are. So when they go to dig one, it's not necessarily where it's supposed to be. There's a lot of work around to make sure they don't damage anything adjacent when they don't know the records are not always real good. Sometimes they have to dig in weather where they have to worry about mud and collapse, but that's what the funeral home has arranged for. So I think that we just need to look at what are the other cemeteries charging? It is a money-making proposition and we're unfair.
but I think also
Yeah.
what we're looking for is to make sure that we're covering the cost of that burial, right? The maintenance is coming in through the budget.
Yeah, the
But
lawn.
but when you, and that's what Ridgeway told me today, like,
Yeah, that's a
you
good,
know, they're not charging, they have to look at their rates because, you know, the cost is not covering
Just the actual cost. of
the
it.
actual
Mhm.
cost
So let's,
to,
if you
to
want
do
to take
the,
that on, just come back to us, when you get some rates from different
Um,
cemeteries and
Well,
see.
and I'll try to do it on cemeteries that are kind of physically the same size as ours.
no, because you're looking at really more, John, well, my opinion, you're
Mhm.
looking really more at if they have to come in and dig.
Yeah,
If I die tomorrow and they have to come in and dig a grave for me, what's the cost of that?
yeah, no matter what size it is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the size of
Yeah.
the cemetery, right? Because the labor that you're sending out, somebody to go over and dig the grave and, whatever, fill it back
Yeah.
in or whatever has to, and then
Right.
there has to be a cost to the plot
I
itself.
think though that,
which-
that
What I'm
it,
getting at is the cost of the plots.
Oh, but
Cost of
why
the
would the
plots.
why would the size of the cemetery make a difference in the cost of the plot?
Why, that's a good question. Why would it?
well, I think those are questions you
Yeah.
ask. I
Yeah.
think come
Yeah.
back, do some research on it and find out what we've got, okay? And I think that it would be good that the cemeteries are in regions similar to ours.
Yeah,
Not necessarily size of the cemetery, but they're rural towns, villages our size. I don't think we want to compare our rates to something like Buffalo's,
Right.
Right,
Forest
right. Or
Lawn.
even Mount Albion.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm getting at. It's something
something
along
regional.
our
Yeah,
lines.
there's enough of them around. I think you can find between
yeah.
Barry, Albion, because besides Mount Albion and the rest that, you know,
Okay, I'm just out of my own curiosity. I'm missing something about Mount Albion.
well, just, you can check and see what they are.
Right.
It's just-
I guess I'm
it's-
just, why would you?
Right. It's just a physically big cemetery.
Yeah.
Maybe their operating costs are less, or maybe they're a lot more. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think
size
that
of it.
wouldn't hurt, but I think we stay out of the,
Yeah.
we stay out of the cities.
Lindenville has,
Several.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah, you
right
just
off
get,
the.
I'm sure the town all got their, rates posted.
I
what they-
couldn't find them.
Oh, no?
I looked on Berry, I couldn't find it, and I looked on Ridgeway and couldn't find it. I had to call.
Well, Reed Markle, he lives, I know
Yeah,
him.
it's not
He's-
on our website either.
Okay, good. All right.
It should be.
Do we
I thought it
know,
was.
You're gonna come back with some good information.
I know we got he gave us a piece of paper when we increased them last year, but they're supposed to be on the website, weren't they? So people know.
well, maybe, I don't know, maybe they are and it tucked
I think they
away.
were
Well, maybe-
posted.
Find them,
Are they?
I think so. They were at least. I don't think we removed any.
because, the water rates weren't listed and
No.
everything else was, there's
Yeah.
things.
Still a lot to do there.
Just a quick question on the cemeteries, like Millville. Do we know, is there an old triple nickel backhoe that just stays there that they use?
No, they get Art
Do we
Hill.
have to
No,
hook
there
up
is
a
not.
truck and trailer and the mini excavator and tow it over there and dig graves?
Well, the
You know,
town don't. they have-
Sometimes they use Art Hill.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes we do it. Sometimes it's Art Hill.
It depends, I guess. I don't know why. I mean,
It just depends on what's going on.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
So,
And then how's that arrangement? We just get a bill from our
Yes.
bill?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So we have to really look at what is the cost
and you can.
to
and you
dig a
can-
grave. I
We've
mean,
got bills from Art Hill.
we
from
need to
that, so
make
you can
sure that
check on that.
that's being
Right,
recovered.
300, he gets 300.
And then, you gotta figure too is, well, when I don't know if the MEOs do it now, they dig, by hand for, just ashes and that. They'll dig it by hand. So
That I don't, that's a good question. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
know.
know.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Right.
Another question.
what's gonna cost for something like that, so.
Most of the
This
times
is gonna
most
turn
of,
out to be an interesting return on your work. And then you're gonna work, okay, so that cemetery, you're gonna come back with something. You're gonna talk to Dan about the
the grass,
grass
yeah.
and weeds thing, okay, see where.
Yeah,
he's
I didn't
at.
know if it was it brush and grass or brush and weeds or weeds and grass? I don't know. I think it's a specific,
Yep,
has to do,
Yeah.
with, you're not mowing your lawn or you're letting your,
Then the big problem comes around in May. They got no mow in May or something like that they got now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a thing like that
yeah.
where and that's crazy.
Well, for what?
Something else for you to bring back to us.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
The assessment schedule, as Linda had some information on this, but I can tell you as board members, you're always welcome to call Julie. Anybody as the public is, period. So don't hesitate if you have questions. I can certainly tell you, I don't have all the information or the expertise. Feel free. we're not restricted from talking, we just don't have any control over it.
Mhm.
It's the assessment, the process, and the schedule is all in that office and really not up to us. So feel free to give her a ring. The ad valorem charges, okay, you saw my response. I think we owe it. I've included that report the town or the village had done. I understand that that's a yearly charge. Now, I think we owe the amount that's on there. I would say that the valorem charge needs to be recalculated for the next one because we don't have the same number of connections that we used to have. And that charge, if you look at the calculations that the group did, was based on how many connections you had. So Ridgeway versus Medina versus Shelby. With our attachment to the Royalton water, that number will have changed since then. I think that personally, I think we pay the amount that they're asking for now. I can get an update on that, and then I think the next one we have to ask them to
Yeah.
calculate.
Has the town ever paid the village this
No.
ad valorem?
That I know of, no. This has been a hot topic of
So
conversation for some
is
time.
this a culmination of 10 years worth of?
No, that's a yearly charge,
Annual.
annual charge.
They're getting charged, it's my understanding, they're getting charged from Niagara County Water District because they don't pay, like any upcharge,
Oh, or operation
an
and maintenance.
operation and maintenance
Yeah.
charge. So at the end of the year, Niagara County Water District charges the village for the amount of water purchased based on, and based on, it has something to do with the quantity they use and the
Number of connections, I think.
assessed values
Right.
of the homes. So the village is paying that, but when you look at it, the village is buying whatever, 50, 10 million, 20 million extra gallons that are going to the town of Shelby and another whatever to the town of Ridgeway. So they're just trying to pass along the piece of that they're being charged for the total water that they're not using a percent, whatever they said, 18% of that water, they're not even using in the village. It's going outside.
Well, from what I understand, we had asked Kathy to look into this. Are we paying her to do that? Has she come up
Not
with
as, I
anything?
think
or-
that we had when we presented her with I think her first pass on it was that, she wasn't sure we should pay it. But I think it's very clear with the information we've passed on since then. It's a contractual obligation that was made between Shelby and Medina that we would participate in paying our portion of the ad valorem. To me, is very clear.
Okay, say we figure,
It'll come down because
it'll
we're,
come down because we're getting
Right.
now, what about Royalton? We don't have, they won't charge us for,
It's not in the
gonna charge?
contract, and I don't see anything in it, and I don't know how they get away with selling us water without having that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's what I was just
Here's,
thinking.
here's what I don't understand, and I don't even know who to talk to about it. In talking to some of the people, and probably maybe somebody who's listening can clear this up,
they'll say it on Facebook tomorrow.
I'm sure. That Medina was one of the original purchases, or one of the groups to access Niagara water system water, and there was an opportunity to be one of like the founding members or membership or something, which may have, and I don't know enough about it, but I do know that they decided not to do that. Now, is that something that Royalton did way back, and therefore they don't have the same kind of responsibilities or costs? I don't know. But it seems to me that
That's something we're gonna have to find out.
well, I don't know if you can find anybody alive yet that can tell you anything. I think that,
Yeah, but they gotta have a record over there.
someplace.
In
Niagara
we-
County
Niagara County, yeah.
But
Water
what
district.
was the history? Why Medina,
Yeah,
is paying an ad valorem is Royalton. The contract we have though, Larry, with Royalton mentions nothing about any additional charges There's not a word in there. So,
Yeah, it's a pretty simple contract, actually.
very simple.
Yeah.
contract.
But-
So I think this is another element that when we start talking about what we're doing with municipal solutions, becomes another element of that discussion with them to research, the ad valorem. And I think that the ad valorem costs then are something, if we look at alternatives in the future. What if it cost you 1.4 million to pump up and get the fire flow pressures up on the escarpment?
A tank and pumps, yeah.
Tank and pump. So at what point's the return on the investment? I think there's a lot of things that
Yeah.
we look at, but that's down the road. I think, currently we have the ad valorem, they're after it. You asked about it in the email, and I think that, again, my view, is that we owe it. I think it's up to the board to decide whether we do pay it and then renegotiate any additional ad valorem based on the number of water connections as stated in the
Hmm.
study.
Well, my concern is setting a precedent, because I think it's no secret that Ridgeway is not going to pay it.
Ridgeway doesn't get the water from the village, though, that we get. They
Yeah,
get
the
the majority
volume.
of their water from Albion
Well,
or Royalton.
They've got an ad valorem bill
Yeah,
from the
Yep.
village.
Yep, they refuse to pay it.
Would it be prudent, that this much time has gone by already? I don't know if they've had executive sessions, if they've talked with the lawyer, they're gonna start charging us 10% interest,
Well, they did send us an ad valorem bill. I know I have it in something at the end of the day here, what time I had. I know they had talked about adding a late charge to it. And I talked them out of it at this point that we were researching this. They give us some more time. At some
Is
point,
this-
I can see them coming. I mean, here's the difference too, though, that our relationship with the village in terms of water is more complicated than Ridgeway's is. Ridgeway is very busy on cutting off all their connection to Medina Water, other than those residents that live in the village that have no choice about who they get their water from. They're already looking at cutting out some other sections. And frankly, Brian Napoli mentioned that they're working on some stuff out, looking at that we may be able to join with them to change some of our West Avenue extension stuff, or maybe, some other areas. Just briefly, I don't know anything more about it than that.
Well, should this fall under the umbrella of municipal solutions to
That's
take a
what I
look
just
at
said.
first?
First, I can throw it at them. I mean, we've been going this long not paying it. And you brought it up in the email. I thought I'd bring it up tonight, so.
Well, again, only because it was one of the things that
Sure.
it was just kind of glaring and kind of out there. I have been attending the village meetings and workshops. Haven't had an opportunity to really interject anything because they've got quite the ball of mess over there that they're dealing with.
Yep.
But also to determine if that was something that was going to be on their agenda or brought up.
It's brought up occasionally. I mean, almost as soon as I sat in the seat, the cat sat here. It comes up on occasion. It is a sore point with the village. Our relationship with them as I was going on is more complicated by far than Ridgeway's. A lot of that centers around the tank that sits up there, out there. That we own the water, they own the tank, and they're paying a $1.5 million bond payment.
And they don't even get water out of it.
What's that? And they
I
get
don't think
very
they get
little
water
water,
out
if
of it.
any water.
It's only
out
an
of it,
emergency.
Yeah.
Emergency, yeah.
Well,
So-
again, and unfortunately, this is a problem that was inherited by
Sure.
the board, and you can't help but feel it's got just a bite of retaliation for how that whole moving away from the village
No,
water.
Absolutely not.
No, this is going on for a while.
They have been after the ad valorem
Yeah.
for 10 years.
Yeah.
They have sent bills here and been after the boards.
So again, is this 29 whatever $1,000?
It's an annual fee.
Is it a culmination of they've been fighting for this fee?
No,
No, but I
Just
can
never
tell you
paid it,
what,
so they gave up.
I've never seen an ad valorem bill from the village.
No.
So those bills were being kept from the other
Yeah,
board members, or
yeah,
we could have discussed this
I never saw
at a
that.
previous time. I don't know, did you see him in your time here?
How about way back when you're, before I got on, I mean, you didn't see nothing or,
No,
yeah,
I don't recollect anything.
I
no.
do know that they've been after the.
No, I'm just saying that, so they're
Yeah.
not making it, this discussion should have happened a long time ago.
It may have come to the water department
I mean,
and just,
Well, the earlier contracts,
Maybe you'll
actually,
find- maybe you'll find
there's a
full-
series of water contracts, and there's one that mentions the sharing of the ad valorem charge. And it's signed by Shelby. What more do you do than that? And so,
Yeah.
I think though there's worth some discussion. I think we can add it to the municipal solutions discussion, throw this at them and see what they got, or, if you want to table it, if you.
Would it be wise to have them maybe, look into Niagara County, Royalton and Niagara County Waters, or one of us, see what kind of, if there's gonna be any kind of a charge for that,
From Royalton?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean, the contract doesn't have nothing in
I
it.
know.
Well, I think part of that, securing their services would be to review all the current
Well, I'm sure it will be.
Yeah,
connections, bill
Right.
cycles,
Well, I
Yeah.
think it's
per
all that.
thousand rates, all
Oh,
that
sure.
stuff.
And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why I said originally, when we started talking about the municipal solutions, how do you attach a dollar amount to it? I think there's more to it than, and as
Mhm.
long as we can get them information, but I think as they go through, this is gonna be one of those things where this question leads to this question.
Yeah.
Leads to this question, do you have this?
It's already happening right here.
Yeah.
Well, and the other missing piece is, we don't know where Kathy stands on this.
She hemmed and hawed on it. I haven't talked to her recently. She'll be here Tuesday. If you wanna bring it up to with her, that's fine. And see where she is. I think it's very, again, and I said in here, I personally believe that we owe this. Because I see in the contract, it mentions and the town has signed a contract with them that says that we share the ad valorem. So.
I'm thinking maybe on, Royalton. Royalton may be treating it as like they're selling their water to a big industry. Not another
Mhm.
town per se. They may be saying we're selling it to this, calling it an industry, so there is no ad valorem.
Yeah.
Well, if they're original members, I mean, they're probably,
Maybe they don't have an ad
they don't
valorem.
have.
See, and that's what I know.
Yeah.
That's a deep research project.
Yeah.
That goes back to, when was the original water line put in? '70s, early '70s? The first water line from
Here?
Medina to,
Yeah, it was from Medina to Shelby Center.
Yeah, District 1 in my
Yeah.
district.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I think it
Medina,
was
I don't know when they switched to Niagara from whatever sources they had. That even goes back even further. Who could you find that could tell you about?
I could find somebody because they used to get the water out by, in Kepler's over there. There's a great big reservoir up on the
Is there
hill.
anybody that's still alive that remembers all those?
There could be, I don't know. I can find out. I know, I talked to Phil Kepler. He might know something about
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I'm
Shoot.
back of Les Vaughn's.
Yeah, back of Les, there's a huge tank.
Yep.
It's open tank right on the hill.
Or Dave Schubel.
Yeah, he would know.
Okay, who wants to take that on to do some research?
I could do that.
All right, I like this.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he would know. Yeah, 99. I think he
No,
just
he's
had a
he's
birthday.
99 now. He'll be 100 August
In
something.
August, yeah.
Yeah,
Do some research, okay?
Yeah.
yeah, because
Okay,
he's got it's right behind Jennistone, and it's August. I wanna say
insurance renewal,
60.
I will call him tomorrow. So,
so you know where we are.
yeah, just so we know where we are. I did speak with the gentleman from Lawley. He's sent it out to a few places. Only one company came back and was willing to quote it. The problem is he gave me a stack of applications that you had to go through and fill out all over again. So I have not had a chance to get back to him, but I will touch base with him tomorrow and have an update on Tuesday. What I guess I really want to know from him is, before I spend 3 hours or 4 hours putting all this together, is there a chance this place is going to come in cheaper than Nymer? Because I don't really want to.
But here's the thing we're up against. I got 2 emails from Kathleen today.
Mhm.
We have to do this if we're gonna renew, because it's an April renewal.
April, you know.
I've got a huge pile of papers there that have to be filled out.
Yep.
Get back to them so they can get a final quote to it.
So the other thing is I'll just check with him too about commissions on it. Like maybe there's some wiggle room with a commission.
Because this is gonna take me
Yeah.
probably a day to
Yeah.
fill out. the
So
paperwork.
I will have
So I
some,
wasn't aware, I mean, we went through the presentation
Mhm.
board and we got the handouts and all those things. I felt at that point in time it was a done deal. I wasn't aware that we
I
were
think
still shopping it.
No, Linda at the
No.
time brought up that she wanted to approach Lolly, and she did, and it's just, we said, fine, see if we can get a separate quote.
Okay.
and then they just came back, and it's been a couple weeks, and that's, this is just a tough time for me
Well,
closing the year, but yeah.
that's kind of my point, if it's,
Well,
is it just doing due diligence to make sure that we're not being, overly charged?
Yes.
Or are we
Yes.
comfortable
Pretty
enough
much,
with
yeah.
Tompkins that,
I don't
Yeah.
think
they
we're
wouldn't
gonna
do
find
that for the sake of doing it, or,
it's more to just kind of keep everybody in check
Compare,
and make
yeah.
sure that, we are getting the best rate.
okay. It just seems, undue, you know, additional stress and work.
Well, that's what I want to find out from it. And I'm happy to do it if he really believes that but if we're gonna save ourselves $200,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spend,
I think,
6 hours to fill out stuff
I
that,
think it's part of our due diligence, and I don't
Yep.
have a problem checking, so I think that
Yep.
but I think our timeline
Yep,
is
I
very
will,
short. Okay?
yeah, I'll talk to him and have an update.
All right.
Okay, Larry, I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to reply there. I got
Okay,
busy at work. Basically, what I'm getting at here is when I reached out to Sourcewell, I looked up town of Shelby again to get our Sourcewell account number, 13539 or whatever it is, and I did fill out their online form and I registered myself
okay,
as a Sourcewell contact
okay,
as a councilman for the town, and within moments thereafter, I heard back from this Heidi Limpert, who's a representative that works for Sourcewell, and connects you with contractors based on your needs and that kind of thing. And then I began to have more discussions as I was trying to reach out using our AV quote that Kevin and I put together to attempt, to determine who should I talk to about this, who's a good firm. And she replied back right away with 3 different possibilities, which I reached out to. Unfortunately, didn't get a lot of play off of that, and I let her know that, that these people aren't as responsive as I would appreciate they would be. In the meantime, I did ask her, are there any other contacts listed with the town of Shelby with Sourcewell? And she looked in the file and she says, so far, all I have is Lawrence Water Senior Councilman.
okay,
So my point being, we should probably list other entities as contacts and their position,
mhm,
notably highway superintendent, clerk, uh, supervisor. And what that does is it's not like you're going to be bombarded with things, but when you go to reach out, like,
mhm,
we need a new copier, we need toner, we need, toilet paper, whatever it is, they immediately, recognize you as somebody that,
They can talk to.
has a valid
that's good, send it to
no
me.
reason
to me.
for calling them. And then what I did also do today is I reached back out to her and I asked her if there was any possibility there was um, a history of purchases off of Sourcewell through the town of Shelby. She was traveling on the road. She deferred it to this Bobby
Okay,
DeWolf or what have you. And there is data in the system going back to 2015. Um, and they broke it out by construction equipment, grounds and ag, and then other. So I'll forward this to you guys.
good,
It does show, some activity back in 15 and then it drops right off. And then most recently, which I would say is probably trucks, because, those people have to be Sourcewell compliant when they're selling, that type of equipment.
Okay.
So that's not due to the direct result of somebody with the town reaching
Right.
out to them. It was, working with a vendor that is
Is a source.
bound right by the, the laws of Sourcewell. So
Okay. Well, forward me
um,
that email, I'll get us signed up.
there's a lot of good information there, and I was really quite pleased with how responsive these people are. She even took the time to just reach out of the blue to make sure that I was getting the information that I needed, and I let her know, well, I'm not too happy with these two firms. She forwarded it on to the East Regional contacts, and it was immediate. They got right a hold of me and apologized and sent me quotes. So it's a good process, very valuable to the town. I think going
Mhm.
forward, we could certainly benefit from sending more needs their way and just letting these people, bid for our business,
Mm-hmm.
save some money. So that's what that was.
Okay. Mobile phone is in process.
Yep.
As soon as we can get a quote from them, I'm gonna have to spend some time because they wouldn't talk to her. Um, I sent you the CHPC contract. It's a 3-year contract. Certainly, it wouldn't hurt, Larry, if you wanted to reach out. I know you have somebody in mind. If you want to get another quote that we can have in our pocket at least. Um, so when the time comes to look at that closer at the end of that agreement, we would have something, someplace to go and have an idea. Who else to look
Well,
at.
I didn't have time to, unfortunately, I seen you sent me the contract, and I
Right.
do appreciate that. I know I've asked for it. But I didn't actually have time to open it and read
Gotcha.
it, before I left. And my main concern is, when Kevin and I were going through the building and we went into that server room and everybody's, they always chuckling, oh, I'm going in there. It's, part of that agreement is, physical maintenance of this equipment. I mean, number one, it's too hot in that room. Number two, there's probably 5 years worth of dust accumulation, and I can't imagine,
Well, we just got
those
rid,
things need to
I
be.
did have them come in here just recently, go through all of the old computers, everything that was in there that could go. They removed the hard drives and,
How recent was that?
a
After
week.
Kevin and I were here,
Yeah.
or,
Mhm.
yeah, because obviously there's a lot of,
So there's cleanup that has to happen now that we've got the shelves cleared off and we still have one big piece of equipment, has nothing to do with CHPC, is that letter folder. That's gonna have to find its way out of here.
So, just for your own benefit, I don't understand what that whole IT thing very well, but I know the village just got a quote from them. And I believe it was 1,100 a month,
Mhm.
and I think ours is 17.
Yeah, it's
So,
17.
Mhm.
um,
So I think it's
I
worth,
could be wrong, but I'm
look,
pretty sure it
it's a
was like
3-year
up
agreement,
11.
so
So
we're signed
we-
up for another couple of years. I think now is the time, though. You
Mhm.
mentioned going to somebody in Batavia, go do it.
Yeah,
Please bring it
some
to us.
numbers.
yeah, I mean, there's some dated equipment there. I mean, there's some stuff that, you would buy from Walmart for your house. It has no business being in there.
that's probably what
And
I
again,
have.
the mechanics, the actual mechanicals in there is, it's a ticking time bomb. I mean, that thing is just it's gonna
I'm-
blow up. So,
Whatever you can find out, we've got an agreement in place. I can tell you that so far they've been responsive when I needed them. The systems seem to be working. We haven't had anything, but that doesn't mean that it's okay. So anything that you want to do, Larry.
well, I
in
think,
terms of reaching
they're,
out,
I don't want to lean on the fact that they're local is,
No,
we
I-
should be using them. Just like single source or any of the rest of them. I mean, we got to keep these people honest. We are not getting our money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Absolutely.
agree.
Well, I think if it comes
Absolutely.
down to it, we come up with some new information, some plan of attack, but just say, hey, we've got these
Yeah.
people are doing.
I've got an outfit I want to have come in here and look stuff over.
You're more than welcome
That's
to.
okay.
Actually, that's-
Yep.
Your
Yeah.
name just went on that one, buddy.
Yeah,
All about that, I'll tell you. All right, you got the answer on the spectrum thing and you would,
Yep.
as we move forward on that.
Yep.
The other thing, I really didn't have time to look at, your AMTMA funds.
Again, is that something that we anticipated? Was this allocated in the budget? Is it a budget line? Is it a,
What's TMA?
that's the temporary municipal assistance and then the assistance to municipalities from the state.
I don't remember seeing that.
I don't either.
No.
Can't answer that
I-
one for you.
yeah,
I
I'd
said,
have
when
to-
I get some time,
I
I'm
meant to
thinking of it.
bring my budget with me. I forgot it.
So I mean, that's, there's some money coming in, so I just want to make sure we don't
Mm-hmm.
miss out on it. And then at the same time, where does it go?
And then the last question on the fluoride, I didn't get a chance to anybody ask
Oh,
anybody here.
I'm trying to get a meeting scheduled with Dale for us.
Yeah,
And I asked him to please put it on his calendar every Monday prior to the
prior
board
to,
meeting
yeah,
so that we
day
can sit
before.
down. But I will ask that
You're right, though. This is something CJ should definitely know.
yeah.
between one of the two of them. Yep.
And
See,
again,
It just,
and again, just the reason I put the phone number, you guys are all board members, you folks are, guys, all of us.
Mhm.
You could certainly have the ability to call Royalton to ask anything. You're official members of the board and
Yeah,
you're authorized to do any kind of asking anything you want. I can tell you anytime I've called Royalton, the clerk there has been extremely helpful. So if she can't answer, she'll get it from the water clerk. Their water clerk is part-time and doesn't have set hours either.
We need to look at that.
This,
I know, we won't get it there, but I'm just telling you, so.
this fluoride, seems like I can remember something on the news about this.
Well, a lot of places been after trying to get it removed from.
Removed or put back in. This was putting it back in.
It's both. Some people
Oh,
want, the
well,
dentist.
I can't
want it.
remember if it was
right,
Buffalo
and
or the
this-
water or
that's
whatever.
exactly what you're saying is what I recall. Something about after so many years,
They're putting it back in.
they're now beginning to, to put it back in there. And, it's my belief that it shouldn't be in there. And that's why I brought it up.
no, it shouldn't. Yeah, well, no, I wouldn't drink plum water anyways. I mean, I don't
What do you
get
care?
bottled water.
Well, and,
Well, I got well water, but I mean,
Well, that's
and
worse
the, and
than
the fluoride, one of the grandkids, when she was little,
yeah,
ate a good portion of a tube of toothpaste and she got sick from the fluoride.
yeah, that's true.
So
poison
how far-
warning right on the
Bottled
lake.
water comes from. They open a tap somewhere.
No, that's
fill
a
a plastic
Poland
bottle
Spring.
with
That's
it,
pure,
and put it-
that's pure spring water.
Yeah, okay. Ed,
I don't know what's.
I can-
My well's
I'll
probably
start
better
sell-
than that. I
I'll
got a
start
good
selling
well.
cases of water.
I got a couple hundred cows drinking out the well, so they keep it fresh.
I think part of it, we just got all test results back from Erie on the water, because that's sent out, I think that's in the last invoice pile, was test results from Erie
Yeah,
on the water that we have to pay for.
Well, I think about that process, and unfortunately geographically, based on where you're at the mercy of who's ever at the source.
right.
So, who
Right.
decides that for the rest of the masses,
Yeah.
Well, you're getting pretty deep now on this one.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer.
it's
No,
it's a concern to me.
Yeah.
People
Well,
want,
that's-
people want to
that's-
know
My
too, you know.
children, my grandchildren.
There's a phone number, call them and ask them.
Yeah,
Ask
just-
Medina too. I don't know who's putting what and where.
I don't know.
I mean, I have a whole house Culligan system, so I mean, I'm not really.
Get yourself a reverse osmosis and you don't have to worry about it.
That's what I have.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
It's got all 3 filters.
Yeah, that's what I got, yeah, out of my well, yeah.
I've had it for 20, 30 years.
All right.
It's the only water I'll drink.
yeah.
You'd have had fluoride.
There's nothing in it. Tell you when the Culligan runs out of salt,
Oh, yeah, you ain't kidding there.
All right.
Um,
Anything else before we call this a day?
Just one question before my meeting. Did you ever get your FOIL request with the readings? Okay, well, we need to address that on Monday.
Monday, yeah, we could answer.
Well, how long ago was the FOIL request put in?
3 months ago.
3 months, wasn't it?
He got it, but it was all blacked out.
I know, I
He
never
brought
got
it
a
up-
copy of it.
He
by the
brought it
way.
up at the meeting.
I know, and neither did John Massidi ever get a copy. You said you were gonna give it to him.
No, I gave
You gave it to Kathy. Did you give it to
I gave
Kathy?
it to- Yes, I did.
Because
give it to
you
Kathy.
said in the meeting that John and I had copies. I never saw it.
Oh, Kathy
No.
has it.
Kathy got it.
Kathy, yeah.
And she said that it
So
shouldn't
John
have been
said he
redacted.
didn't.
I'm sorry.
Just so you know, that's okay, just so we understand that we didn't ignore it. 'Cause
I
didn't
might
get
have it electronically. I'll send it. I'll have to look.
Anything else before we go home for the evening?
Now we're gonna have an executive session at the beginning and
That's
Tuesday.
correct. Yeah, I'll
Right.
try to, get our agenda out. We'll
Yeah.
let you know about the vouchers as soon as, actually Diane's offered to come in because she was gonna take tomorrow off again, trying to diligently to stay under
Have
the
a
20
life of
hours.
your own, please.
But she's diligently trying to, she actually wanted at the time
We'll
of
get
trying
together and
desperately
look
to
at
stay under the 20 hours
Vouchers?
and to have
Yeah.
a life.
Yep.
So we will let you know as soon as we can get those. She's offered to come in the morning to match those. So hopefully we'll get those early enough that we can get them. We'll let you know that they're available for the weekend. All right, and I think you'll find that we've been much more diligent in getting receipts rather than statements and anything else, so they should be pretty complete this time. There shouldn't be anything too far out of scope or that we're missing information there, so we'll let you know.
The only thing I have, only other thing I have, and you probably think I'm crazy, is I think it would be good to move the meetings back to 6 o'clock.
I thought you don't want that.
Larry.
Well, just saying,
Oh my God, I like that one.
it's open for consideration. You know, I feel like, you all agreed for me,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you shouldn't feel the way. It was true.
and I want
Yeah.
to see
That's
the exception.
exactly what happened.
But at the same time, I think, coming into better weather, it's gonna be light out longer,
People are gonna wanna get home.
want to get home and tend to the garden and
Do
do
we,
other
do we need
things,
to have a
so.
resolution on that?
No, let's just move it to
People are
6.
gonna be kind of,
Well,
Go
and
stir
the other
crazy
reason
to
I bring, the
change.
other reason I say it now,
yeah.
because we're talking executive session on Tuesday, so is
Oh,
it
yeah.
legal that,
Sure.
we came in at 6 and had our executive session and
Yep,
everybody know the
Do
meeting
anything we
will start
want.
at 6:30?
as far as I.
Yeah, but the public's,
No, we could just say it's a 6 o'clock meeting.
Yep.
That is gonna, a meeting
We've already
is gonna
put
have an
this-
executive
Yeah.
session right away.
yeah,
And then we can announce at the meeting that going forward, we're gonna be 6
Yep.
o'clock.
yeah, I could
It'll
do
work
that.
just fine. We'll set it up for 6
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
the executive session.
Okay,
Board to start afterwards, 6:30 meeting, because I
Yeah.
think the executive session is probably gonna take a little bit.
more than that,
More than a
Half hour.
5-minute discussion
right,
here.
yeah, I don't want to be rushed.
No, so let's
Yeah.
set it up for 6
yeah.
meeting, and then we can announce that the meetings from now on are gonna be at 6 o'clock.
You can put it on me, that's fine.
Nope.
No, that's good. I like that though.
I was trying to figure out what he was gonna say. Since you're gonna think I'm crazy, and I'm going, oh God, he wants to move the meetings to 7:30. That's what I thought he was gonna say.
Oh, dear God, no.
All right. Can I have a motion to close this?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Yes, I.
Aye.
Aye.